coordinators, Toastmasters, and fellow speech captains. Today I am going to talk about a subject that is of concern to us in society. Till recently it was not a big concern because we are accepted as a part of life. I call it corruption, but many call it in a different way. People in the government sector who are used to that call it fees. You go to any government office, you need to pay them a fees to get a job done. That is the way they call it. They want to give it some other new names so that even though they know it is a bad thing, they want to give it a name that is looking little stylish and they don't feel the guilty for doing that. That's probably the reason they call it fees. This problem is nothing new to our country. Our country has been corrupt for a long time. From time immemorial we have problems. And all the problems that we have in this country is, I believe, has started from this kind of corruption. Corruption could be taking money or could be some other form of corruption like nepotism and all that. What is corruption today? Corruption is nothing but the government guys is entrusted with some job to perform. He doesn't perform that. In order to perform that, he will ask for some personal gain. That is called corruption. And our country today is ranked as 85th position in the Transparency International's list of corrupt countries. They index the country, each country's corruption level, and say what is the level you are falling under. I don't think that we can stop corruption by bringing in more strict legislation or things like that. In that case, the countries like China should have stopped corruption long back. In fact, China falls around 78 or 79 in the list of corrupt countries. And if you think that severe punishment can bring in, no, because countries like Saudi Arabia, that is falling under that is still in the list, falling under the 50th position. Independent India has brought in some good leaders, but what we did is after that we have destroyed the good things that those guys brought in. Probably somewhere in the 60s when government got busy with more regulations and they wanted to bring in more powers to enrich themselves, they thought this is a good policy to bring in more controls, and people always found a way to overcome that rules and regulations. So even people were offering to the government people money so that they can get the job done. But today the situation has come a long way. It is not just in government sector that is corruption. Corruption is there in private sector also. Probably if you compare the corruption in private and government sector, private sector is more corrupt than the government sector if you look at the money that is exchanged. I belong to a profession called procurement. Even when I joined my first job, the people were laughing at me, saying, okay, you are going to be the next fellow in the list of corruptions. But today I know, and when I talk to my vendors, they say, in your profession, in the private sector, out of the 10 people, 7 are corrupt, they take money. But if you look at that, the corruption has started from top level itself. Even in the private sector, it is the top level fellows who is encouraging corruption some way or the other. Today, even in the private sector, even MNC companies, they came out with a very ingenious method of paying corrupt money. They don't pay it directly and they claim that we are complying with all sorts of government regulations in India or abroad. So they appoint an agency called service providers and they put the money through those agencies. And they have got, today in India we have got lobbying firms. People like Neera Reddy and all that. So it has become more of getting institutionalized in this country. Then suddenly this guy, Anna Hazare, came up with all his past and all that. So this government guys have threatened, the private guys, I do not know whether they will start hitting at the private guys also. But somewhere we are getting the feeling that we hope that with the kind of legislation that government is planning to come, we will have some respite from this kind of problems. And as they say somewhere, The problem always, the fish rot from the head. So in my experience, the problem in the private sector, the companies that I was working, the actual corrupt practices started from the top, believe it or not. It was not the fellows who are at the lower end who started it. It is the people at the very senior level who were looking for opportunity to exploit some kind of things, and they have encouraged corruption in the private sector. Thank you.